If you've been scrolling through endless lists of OLED TVs and soundbars, wondering which combo actually gives you that cinema-at-home feeling without turning your living room into a tech maze, this review is going to clear that up for you. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've spent the last couple of weeks setting up the Sony BRAVIA XR8B 77-inch OLED together with the HTA70 7.9 speaker soundbar, and I'm here to tell you whether the hype lives up to the price tag. First off, the biggest hesitation most buyers have is the fear of spending a fortune on a massive TV and then getting a sound system that feels like an afterthought. You might end up with jaw-dropping picture quality but dialogue that still gets buried under explosions, or a soundbar that looks sleek but can't fill a big room. That risk is real, especially when you're dealing with a 77-inch OLED that practically demands a matching audio experience. The Sony bundle tries to solve that by pairing the TV with a soundbar that promises ultimate surround sound with 360 spatial sound mapping. The idea is simple: you get one piece of hardware that handles both picture and immersive audio, so there's less chance of a mismatch. Let's start with the sound side of things, because that's where most of the buyer anxiety lives. Dialogue clarity is a deal-breaker for anyone who watches dramas or follows fast-talking podcasts on a big screen. The HTA70 uses Sony's acoustic surface audio technology, which essentially turns the entire bar into a speaker array. In practice, that means the words stay crisp even when the on-screen action ramps up. I tested it with a recent thriller that had a lot of whispering over city traffic, and I could still pick up every line without cranking the volume. The 7.9 speaker layout, paired with 360 spatial mapping, creates a sense that sounds are coming from the left, right, and even slightly behind you, which is a noticeable upgrade from a standard 2-channel bar. Bass performance is where many mid-range soundbars stumble, especially in larger spaces. The HTA70 includes a built-in subwoofer unit, but it's not a separate, floor-standing box. In a medium-sized living room, about 15 by 20 feet, the low end felt tight enough to add punch to explosions and music beats without overwhelming the mids. However, if you have a larger open-plan area or you're the kind of viewer who likes the floor-shaking rumble of a big action movie, you'll notice the bass starts to feel a bit constrained after a while. It's not a flaw, it's just a trade-off for the sleek, all-in-one design. Room size fit is another practical point. The soundbar measures just under a meter in length, which matches the width of the 77-inch OLED nicely. It sits flush under the TV, keeping the visual line clean, and the acoustic mapping adjusts automatically based on how far the speakers are from the walls. In a cramped apartment, the bar still works, but you'll lose some of the immersive everywhere the best seat effect because the software can't bounce sound off as many surfaces. In a dedicated home theater room, the bar shines, delivering a surround feel that makes you want to sit anywhere on the couch. Streaming and TV connectivity are where Sony tries to make the bundle feel like a single ecosystem. The TV runs Android TV under the hood, so all your favorite apps live on one screen, and the soundbar picks up the audio via a single HDMI cable. That means you never have to juggle multiple remotes or switch inputs. The TV remote controls volume, mute, and even sound modes on the bar. The only friction I noticed was the initial setup menu, which asks you to confirm the soundbar's firmware version. It's a one-time step, but if you're not comfortable navigating a few extra screens, you might feel a tiny bit of annoyance. Once you're past that, the experience is genuinely effortless. You select Netflix, the TV pulls the video, and the bar automatically switches to the cinema preset. Now, who should actually buy this bundle? If you already own a large OLED TV and are looking for a sound solution that won't require a separate AV receiver, this is a solid match. It's especially appealing to cinephiles who want dialogue clarity and a decent surround effect without investing in a full speaker setup. Gamers will also appreciate the low latency mode, which keeps audio in sync with fast-paced action. Families that stream a lot of content together will love the make everywhere the best seat claim, because the spatial mapping does a good job of spreading sound across the room. On the flip side, skip it if you live in a small studio where the 77-inch screen already dominates the space. You'll end up with a bar that's too large for the room, and the bass will feel thin. Budget-conscious shoppers should also consider that you can get a comparable OLED TV and pair it with a dedicated subwoofer for a similar price, which would give you deeper bass in a larger room. Finally, if you're